I am absolutely going to testify. I won't even say his name. He is an evil being and is going to pay. I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
The courtroom fell silent as Diddy's composed facade suddenly cracked. His fists clenched. His jaw tightened. Everyone present could feel the tension escalate the moment Justin Bieber's name echoed through the room. What you're about to witness is the exact moment Diddy lost control during day 2 of the trial, right after learning that Justin Bieber had publicly declared his support for Cassie. Security had to step in. And what happened next shocked even the judge.
Do you think the person that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%, yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying, that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully, but yeah, just protecting those moments, because people take for granted encounters and
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful...
Bieber turned 15, and it suddenly seemed that Hollywood was keen to almost initiate him. I think that's the right word. Like there was almost like this initiation that he needed to go through. So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie For the Times of Their Lives? Like, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full.
Young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun. Now, all of a sudden, he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did. The allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher. As we are going through these lawsuits and Diddy is in prison, we are recognizing that everybody knew. This was an open secret about what Diddy was doing. So it just begs the question, who allowed Justin Bieber to be in the presence of this man, knowing what he was up to, allegedly up to? That seems to be very clear.
Day 2 started with this eerie calm. Diddy walked in, surrounded by his expensive legal team, exuding confidence. But if you looked closely into his eyes, something was off. He kept scanning the room like he expected someone to jump out at him. Security wasn't normal that morning either. They added extra guards near Diddy's table. One stood directly behind his chair. Another by the aisle. It wasn't your typical celebrity trial setup. Almost like someone got a tip. Then Cassie walked in, and the energy shifted. She wore a simple black dress with a white collar. Nothing flashy, but powerful. Her friends formed a protective circle around her, walking her to her seat like bodyguards. The contrast was striking. Diddy had paid security. Cassie had loyal friends. But here's where things got strange. Diddy couldn't stop checking his phone. He kept scrolling with his thumb, and with each refresh, his expression darkened. At one point, his lawyer actually had to take the phone from him. That's when I noticed it. Diddy's hand was shaking. Meanwhile, the prosecution team started acting strangely. Whispering behind folders. Passing notes. One prosecutor kept showing something on her tablet to another. They nodded like they just found the final puzzle piece. Diddy's lawyer tried calming him down at least 3 times. leaning in, whispering, placing a hand on his shoulder. But Diddy kept shrugging him off, once so forcefully the man had to steady himself on the table. When the judge entered, her face said it all. Day 1, she was relaxed. Today, she looked like a principal who just learned the school troublemaker brought fireworks. Her eyes shot straight to Diddy's table. She whispered to her clerk, who nodded and picked up the phone. What no one knew, yet, was that Diddy had just seen something online. Something that would push him past the edge. His team tried hiding the phone. Too late, he'd already seen what Justin Bieber posted. The bailiff called everyone to order, but the tension was unbearable. Jurors kept exchanging confused glances. One even asked for water, her hand visibly shaking as she reached for the cup. Diddy sat, leg bouncing, a vein pulsing on his forehead. His breathing grew heavier. His lawyer kept placing legal papers in front of him to distract him. Diddy pushed them away. He stared straight ahead. It was like watching a bomb right before detonation. The clock on the wall seemed to tick louder. Diddy's perfect image was about to shatter in front of the entire courtroom.
Yeah. So, yeah. I just want to protect her, you know? I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, I mean, just think about how young I was and so impressionable. And you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, you know? And like,
It's like taking a kid and putting a kid in a room full of nothing but sweets.
Right.
And just saying, I'll be back in 2 days.
Exactly. I just want people to understand, like, the psychology behind why I potentially could have problems in my life.
In time, let's talk about the fact that Combs' co-defendant in a civil case, a case, by the way, that accuses him and this co-defendant, another A-lister, of rape. This guy is once again slamming the attorney behind the case, insisting that he be sanctioned for allegedly not doing his job. We're talking, of course, about Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, once again calling out attorney Tony Busby, calling out his character, more specifically into question, claiming that the Texas attorney's filings have, quote, substantial. Now, we've talked about this before, but basically, a civil lawsuit was filed against Sean Combs on behalf of a Jane Doe who says that she was raped by Combs and another celebrity at a home after the Video Music Awards in 2000.
While the courtroom focused on the tension, something seismic was happening online. Justin Bieber had dropped a social media bomb, one that would ripple through the industry and detonate inside that courtroom. Right in the middle of proceedings, Bieber posted a statement supporting Cassie. And this wasn't some vague, sending love message. This was personal. Bieber called out what he had seen with his own eyes. He wrote about being at industry parties where he witnessed Diddy's behavior toward Cassie, described seeing Diddy grab Cassie's arm too tightly at a 2015 after-party. He recalled interviews where Diddy cut Cassie off mid-sentence and spoke for her. These weren't rumors. These were first-hand accounts. During the first recess, the post spread like wildfire. People crowded courthouse hallways, phones in hand. Legal assistants printed out screenshots. Even jurors seemed rattled. The post included an old photo, Bieber and Cassie smiling at a music event. But Cassie's eyes told a different story. Bieber's caption read, "I've always respected Cassie's strength. I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner." For Diddy, the timing was catastrophic. Bieber's 270 million followers saw the post within minutes. Headlines erupted. This wasn't gossip anymore. This was a major celebrity taking a public stand during an active trial. Reporters went into a frenzy. One bolted from the room to call her editor. Another furiously typed on her laptop. A network reporter mouthed, "Did you see it?" To a colleague, "It changed everything." The whispers grew so loud a bailiff had to tell people to settle down. Phones were passed hand to hand in disbelief. Eyes turned to Diddy. Had he seen it? Others watched Cassie, who remained composed. Calm. The power of Bieber's post was in the language. He called Cassie brave and truthful. He admitted he had seen troubling behavior but hadn't recognized the pattern back then. He wrote, "I'm disappointed in myself for not speaking up sooner." Diddy's lawyers saw the post first. He panicked, tried shielding Diddy's view, whispering for all phones to be removed. Too late. Someone had already shown Diddy the screen. His eyes locked on it, and in that moment, his face changed.
Years old, and I should mention he was signed by Usher to a label that was owned jointly by both Scooter Braun and Usher, and he was considered Usher's protege. He has been described Usher as his mentor. The Bieber, Justin Bieber, is continuing the purge. He has now moved to his original mentor. So this is a very big story, and the reason why we should discuss this and we should not diminish what is happening, it's not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon that we are witnessing, Hollywood Babylon, that is. He did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry. And sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing. And if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted.
I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything. Protect Billie Eilish from what? From who?
When Diddy saw Bieber's post, it was like watching a switch flip. First came shock, eyes wide, mouth open. Then betrayal. Then rage. His nostrils flared. His jaw clenched so tight you could hear the grind from Rose's back. A woman later told reporters she saw his hands shaking uncontrollably. He tried grabbing papers from his lawyer but dropped them. His hands couldn't hold steady. That's when people started staring. Then he stood up. Not casually. Abruptly. Aggressively. The bailiff watching him immediately stepped forward. He knew the signs. Then Diddy said it. Loud enough for the front rows to hear. After everything I did for that kid. Loyalty means nothing anymore. And something about consequences. His lawyer yanked him back into his seat. Whispered urgently. Diddy shook his head. Breathing hard, like he'd sprinted there. Court sketches from that moment? Disturbing point one artist captured the wide eyes, the clenched jaw, the veins bulging in his neck. She later said, in 12 years covering trials, I've never seen a face look like that. The lead prosecutor made a subtle hand signal. Her assistant left the room. Later we learned they were prepping a new witness, one who could directly speak to what Bieber had posted. Security guards exchanged a silent conversation, just with their eyes. Two shifted closer to Diddy. One unclipped something from his belt. Not drawing it. Just ready. Diddy was unraveling. The calm, collected mogul from day one? Gone. Now he fidgeted, wiped his face, loosened his tie. Then, he slammed his hand on the table. A water glass toppled, shattering on the floor. Everyone jumped. Court reporters nearby heard him whisper, I'll make sure he never works in this town again. Neither of them will. His lawyer wrapped an arm around his shoulders to restrain him. The judge slammed her gavel. 15-minute recess, she barked. But that break? It only made things worse. Diddy stewed. When court resumed, Cassie returned to the stand, head high, voice steady. She didn't avoid Diddy's gaze. She didn't flinch. She began testifying with brand new evidence. Text messages from Diddy, 17 in a row in 2016, demanding to know where she was. One read, I need to know where you are every minute. That's the deal if you want to keep your career. The room went silent. Cassie spoke of how Diddy controlled her connections. She wasn't allowed to speak to male artists unless he was present. Justin Bieber was one of them, she said. When I asked why, he told me not to question him. When I did anyway, he grabbed my arm in front of everyone and whispered that I'd regret it. Her voice never wavered. She described being isolated. Monitored. Controlled. Every detail echoed Bieber's post. She hadn't spoken to him in years. Yet the stories matched. When asked why she never came forward, her answer hit hard. He said no one would believe me. He said he controlled who worked in this industry, and who didn't. I saw him make the calls that ended people's careers. Two jurors visibly reacted. One woman wiped tears. Another juror underlined a note 3 times. Then, bombshell. Prosecutors played hotel security footage from 2018. Cassie tried to talk to a male artist in a lobby. Diddy appeared. Wrapped his arm around her. led her away. The body language matched exactly what she had just described. Diddy leaned over to his lawyer, frantic. Cassie listed events by date, location, and witnesses. March 8, 2017, Standard Hotel, NYC. June 22, 2017, Diddy's house, Miami. September 12, 2018, backstage at the VMAs. Each date sent Diddy's legal team scrambling. Cassie revealed other witnesses had come forward after seeing Bieber's post, "Why phone hasn't stopped." People are ready to tell what they saw. Then she dropped the line that broke Diddy. After I once spoke to Justin at a party, Diddy pulled me aside and said, "Even Justin knows what happens to people who cross me." Now, with Justin speaking out, that threat looked terrifyingly real. And Diddy, he couldn't hold it together anymore. You could see him fall apart with every sentence. The confident mogul was gone, and the courtroom knew it.
And weeks after the initial filing, Busby submitted an amended complaint naming Jay-Z as the celebrity who allegedly participated. They wanted copies of these videos for themselves. And I've talked to lawyers about this before. There's a big advantage to having the electronic video, the electronic evidence yourself, right? You don't have to always go over to the other office. You can view the materials on your own. It's a way to better prepare for your defense. And Sean Combs' lawyers argue that under the federal rules of criminal procedure, electronic data that is in the government's possession, Judge Subramanian denied the defense's motion to amend the protective order, but without prejudice, meaning this issue could be revisited. So Subramanian's order reads, quote, "While the government objects to handing the videos over, they provide several options for a defendant to consider that would permit the defense to view the videos, access the information they're looking for, and even allow them to manipulate the video."
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Do you realize how important your story is? Every time I have a conversation with someone who's been through this unique type of experience, I'm searching for some kind of truth that can help.
I commend you for going there and asking the tough questions and the things that people don't want to talk about, and they don't want to go there because it's revealing, and I want people to take a look at my story, and hopefully my words can make a difference.